Welcome back to our Developer Basics course. We're going to continue learning how to manipulate documents by setting and updating properties this time. We're going to create a new test method called CanUpdateContract. And as you can guess from its title, we'll be using a custom contract document type defined in Nuxeo Studio for BigCorp's application. As a reminder, a contract contains the standard Dublin core, file, and files schema, and also contains some additional properties: a start and end date, owner, amount, and related customers stored as a complex and multi-valued property. First, we'll create the document in memory using the core session's createDocumentModel method. Properties can be set right after using the document model's setPropertyValue method and passing it the XPath and value needed. For example, setting a title will be done using the DCTitle XPath. You can do the same with custom properties defined in Nuxeo Studio. To set a start date for the contract, we will use the BC Contract Start Date XPath and instantiate a Gregorian calendar object. Of course, properties can also be updated once the document is saved in the database. We'll save it and retrieve it to demonstrate that further. But first, you should know about an important detail. Notice that we retrieve the document model object after almost each call to the core session. That's because events are fired by these methods, and event handlers could be bound to these events and edit the document. To retrieve the updated document, we need to update the variable. We can also ensure that the title has not been changed by an event handler. For the latter, we can use the document model's setPropertyValue counterpart, being the getPropertyValue method. Let's run the test. And it fails because of a deployment error. The reason is that our Studio project cannot be found in our class path. To fix this, right-click on your project and choose Properties. In the pop-up, select Nuxeo Studio menu, and associate your Studio project by checking it before confirming. If we launch the test now, it fails again, saying that contract is not a registered core type. Now that the Studio project is in our class path, it needs to be deployed in our unit test if we want to leverage its content. We can add an @deploy annotation before the class declaration to do that. There we have to mention the bundle's symbolic name. Remember, it can be found in the manifest file. So open your Studio project jar in the project tree, go to the meta-inf folder, and choose the manifest.mf file. From there you can copy the bundle's symbolic name and paste it into the @deploy annotation. Let's launch the test again. This time we're good to go. Now we'll want to update the document. We'll call the document model's setPropertyValue method again, except that this time we'll also work with a complex and multi-valued property. First, let's update the contract's description. Then we have to flag the document for an update in the database and save the pending changes. Note that we use the core session's SaveDocument method to mark the document for an update. And why do we need a different method for a creation or an update? Well, just as the createDocument method fired creation events, update events are fired by the SaveDocument method. Okay, our final update will be on the contract's customers, a complex and multi-valued property. A complex property is expressed as a Java map, so we'll instantiate a hash map of string and serializable values. Then we can put some properties into it, in this case the customer's first and last name. We're dealing with a multi-valued property which could have several customers, so we need to instantiate an array list of customers and then add our customer to it. Now we are ready to update the document property. We simply need to call the setPropertyValue as usual and cast the customer's variable to a serializable object. We'll save these changes, then retrieve it and make sure that our update went through. Retrieving a complex and multi-valued property is almost the same as what we did before, except we'll use the getProperty method. We now have a list we can iterate on, so retrieving the first customer is easy. And to obtain its values, we'll use the getValue method. Now let's assert that this first name equals what we defined earlier and run the test for a final check. All green, perfect. So let's sum up what we did in this video. Defining a document property is done through the document model's setPropertyValue method. Complex properties have to be expressed as a map, multivalued properties as a list. When updating your document, make sure to call the core session's SaveDocument method to mark the document for update in the database. On the other hand, createDocument is the one to use when creating a new document. These two methods are different, and they also trigger different events. Retrieving a regular property can be done with the document model's getPropertyValue method. And when dealing with a complex and/or multivalued property, you'll be more comfortable using the getProperty method instead, so you can iterate on the items and get their inner values. Now that you know how to manipulate documents, we'll tell you in our next video how to turn them into full-fledged business objects so that you can simplify your code and make it refactoring friendly. Thanks for watching!